Fine. I'll let Sid try his hand first, but if that doesn't work, we're doing it my way. Blip. Threat detected. Reviving the legacy. Rahatia seems eager to bear the node away. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Rambros did send word to the Ironworks, but appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Yeah, I wonder what he's been doing this expansion. Oh, he's dealing with Sorrow of Werlet, that's right. Nevertheless, I assure you my proposal to seek his help is no pretext. However much I might look forward to seeing him again. Him and everyone. But come, let us be on our way. Hehehe. Look at him, all but running. How sweet. Still, it wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Yeah, I can't believe I just forgot about Sid. Although still, I think he still kind of takes a back seat in that. You know, pops in from time to time, you know, to tell us about the G-Warrior or whatever. But he doesn't play, I think, a super huge role. As far as, like, you know, amount of dialogue and all that. Blip. Large lowborn presence detected. Jeez. Kryle's back too. I wonder what was decided at the council. I'm pleased to see your mission was a success, and in no small part due to the bonanza. I take it you have news to share? So do I. First, I thought it said so do it, and I was like, that's rude. Wonderful news, Lavenza. Tataru contacted Sid on our behalf, and he is on his way here even as we speak. While we wait, I should like very much to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Kryle? As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss how best to respond to recent events in Garlemald. According to the intelligence from our Doman allies, the War of Succession rages on, and the Empire remains without a leader. Amidst the chaos, the Imperial legions in the provinces have begun to move independently of the motherland. Of greatest concern to us is the Third, a legion aligned with Lord Nerva. It appears they have received substantial financial backing from House Brutus. Brutus? Aren't they the ones who took in Yatsuyu and Asahi? This bodes well. I think that was a sarcastic, this bodes well. Xenos' movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thancred and Urion J will be able to shed some light on his activities when they return. Until such time as they do, the Alliance leaders feel it would be unwise to interfere in the conflict. Yeah, I'd just be like, you know, like the strategy of let them kill themselves and then take down the leader while they're, you know, kind of rebuilding or whatever. And so, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gimlet, They have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. Working with friendly factions among the beast tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore new avenues for peace. Ooh. 5.4 is when we get the Merlwib cutscene, isn't it? That's a good one. Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put their respective houses in order ahead of a decisive clash with the Empire. Whatever their intent, this is not a problem easily solved. The Lemenzans in particular struggle in their efforts, and Alphino and Y'shtola have been called upon to aid them. So long as we are dealing with the Tempered, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop a treatment for tempering, then anything is possible. Which is why we must succeed. And on that cheery note, why not make yourselves comfortable in Dawn's respite? I'll show Sid in as soon as he arrives. Yeah, I remember there being a lot of really good stuff about kind of almost progress on the A Realm Reborn front. You know, because all of that was dealing with the beast tribes and stuff. And this is like some big progress in that regard. Again, it's kind of like a living world. You know, it's things that were started back in A Realm Reborn are getting movement now again in Shadowbringers. We've made the respite cozier than ever. You're going to love it. I understand you took a little trip to Azizla. Raha made himself useful, I trust. Indeed he did. Sid, at long last. As important as Gabu is to me, I know only too well how much more is at stake here. A cure could change the whole world. Blip bloop, warning. His Highness is exhibiting elevated blood pressure. In a way, this is almost like, you know, meeting heroes in a storybook you read. I mean, you know, to some degree, he had already met Sid, and this is kind of a reunion in a way. But at the same time, I'm sure he read even more great things Sid did. Yeah, it's just interesting. Sid. Forgive us for not coming to see you sooner, my friend. As you may have heard, we've had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumbering a while longer. Oh, okay, this is in reference to the Crystal Tower, not his actual day-to-day sleep schedule. Oh, I would have been, had you not fulfilled your promise. I still struggle with that idea. From where I stand, the secrets of traversing time and space seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternate version of myself has already laid them bare, I dare say that frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. Speaking of which, you wanted my help with something. What is it? But didn't we... We destroyed the machine that did all that in in the Crystal Tower in the twinning, which wasn't a part of the MSQ. I guess, because it was probably a part of the story for that quest that like nobody should really have that information or technology, so we're just not choosing to do that anymore. So yeah, he can focus on other things. Well, well. A treatment for tempering. And for the next step, you need to find the password to this Allegan's report. Just so. With nary a clue to guide us, we could be here forever and still not guess correctly. And thus we turn to you. Well, I'd love to say that we could help you, so I will. Once suitably configured, a Magitech terminal should make short work of identifying the password. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that it might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from Rambros. It contains an Allegan dictionary. Good thinking. I'll transfer the information to a terminal and set it to work right away. Evidently, the Allegans did not have or didn't think to implement measures against, brute force hacking. Ah, looks like it's finished. Let's see. And did it really just ding like a microwave? Oh. Oh, well, he said freedom. The password is freedom. So I was wrong. It wasn't truth. But, close enough. Ha! Short and simple, just as I said. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, milady. Node. Open the report entitled Iconic Corruption and Overview. Password Freedom. Password accepted. Bloop. Opening report. This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism by which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. The phenomenon we call corruption refers to the alteration of the ether of the soul. Said ether ordinarily exists in equilibrium, no one element being more prominent than another. But when a subject is exposed to the ether of an icon, this changes, their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. By way of an example, exposure to the ether of the fiend Sephiroth would cause the subject's ether to become aligned with the element of earth. Weren't a lot of the primals in Heavensward actual like dual element? Because wasn't like Bismarck wind and water? And Ravana was like fire and maybe earth or something like that. But I don't know about the what do they call that? The Warring Triad. Anyway, so element of earth. As a consequence, the subject would attain heightened affinity with earth-aspected magics, as well as preternatural levels of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. That's interesting. I don't think they've ever done anything with their thralls being, having like advanced traits in a given type or whatever. Like the Ixal, the tempered Ixal being like maybe like really quick or something like that. It would I kind of lament a little bit that they got rid of the elemental wheel from 11 because it would have been cool to go up against various tempered of the primals and know that it's like, oh, okay, against this primal's tempered, you have to use these spells, and against those primals, you have to use the other whatever. I just kind of miss that system. I always thought it was cool. The changes undergone by the subject are not solely attributable to elemental alignment, however. Further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes umbrally charged or stagnant during the process. Oh, yeah, because again, it's flipped here from the first. Which I think we established the source is wrong about it. It's not actually... Well, I mean, the terminology can mean whatever you want it to mean, I guess. But I think they assumed umbral was dark when technically on the source, umbral would be light. This stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting the sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of the icon, the thoughts of whom come to consume their entire existence. In this manner do the corrupted become worshippers of the icon, their prayers serving to further empower the entity. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I set out to develop a material capable of shielding one from its effects, an endeavor in which we were successful, albeit at great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption, and in accordance with protocol, they were summarily put to death. Jeez. Yeah, that's why I was thinking about that earlier. That it's like, I wonder why we in modern day have not done more research on it. And it's probably because in order to really be effective at it, you need to do unethical experimentation, something that the Allegans didn't have an issue with. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for corruption, but it was rejected, deemed non-essential by Lord Amon. Though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence, I have been stripped of rank and title, and will shortly be expelled from this facility. Jeez. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I report it in the hope that one day someone will undertake to do that which I could not, and find a cure for the victims of iconic corruption. End recording. So not even the Allegans were able to find a cure. Or rather, were not given the chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Amon's decision. More importantly, this confirms that stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, she has to remake Angelo here, right? Because there's no way of bringing him over from the first. True. Yet were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear it would do not to diminish the individual's fanatical faith. Indeed, it may well intensify it. No, we would somehow need to suppress the primal's hold over the subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining in its thrall. If we could only make them remember who they were. So there's no point in reviving their souls unless we can also restore their sense of self. I mean, they both say the same thing, but one of them is a suggestion, or, yeah, and another one is a question. Yeah, I'll go with the first one. As if, I came up with the idea. But of course, memory transference. The process has the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting the technique, it may be possible to achieve selective reanimation. That is, limit the effects to only those memories that existed prior to tempering. Through thus restoring the sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the incitements of false faith which had come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see. The theory seems sound, and our experience treating the light corrupted would help us to identify suitable memories for reanimation. But how? We didn't deal with memory at all with the light corrupted, did we? But are you confident you can adapt memory transference as required? I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home culminated in literal bloodletting. They did, you are right. Despite my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism, and I concede that the rather clumsy compromise I reached would not provide the basis for a cure. Then perhaps it's better that we consider another approach. Well, I mean, it's also a totally different thing that they're trying to do, because they're not trying to remove the memory from the body per se, in the way that we were on the first. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reason to be confident. You see, nodes such as this were built with the ability to simulate magics, which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. If so, we would be able to conduct years' worth of tests within the space of a few days. In theory, it would be no different from how we identified the password. But it'll take more calculating power, a lot more. I honestly couldn't say whether our equipment would be up to the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked his report behind a password? To keep it from prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait. A password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure and a dictionary wouldn't keep it from a person minded to look. No, he wanted his report to be seen by those who strive for freedom. Not unlike the members of a certain distinguished engineering collective. I believe their motto was freedom through technology or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshop. Right away, Chief. Things are about to get very busy. Lucky we have you to help, huh? But I don't see how this actually changes their dilemma, because he said, I don't know, essentially that we have the equipment to do this. And they're just like, well, but, I mean, Owen wanted us to find it, so, well, okay then. Suffice it to say, I shall be of whatever help I can. All those Magitech terminals won't come cheap. Ugh. Shut up, Tataru. Some things you shouldn't put a price on. We're getting there, Lavenza, one step at a time. As with our first foray into the labyrinth of the ancients, we seek to venture into the unknown. And in order to succeed, we require not only knowledge and preparation, but daring besides, just like old times. Right. While Grahatia and I configure the terminals, I want the rest of you to procure supplies. Namely, ceruleum to fuel the terminals and ice shards to keep them cool. The more we have of both, the better. Leave the ice shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers and go on a gathering spree. In that case, I'll trust Lavenza and Alize with the ceruleum. Here's a promissory note for each of you. Take them to the Sky Steel Manufactory in Ishgard and the ceruleum processing plant in Thanalin. The people there will give you what we need. Yours is a well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thanalin. We shall see to it the terminals are ready by the time you return. If Alize is bound for the cerulean processing plant, you'll want to take yourself to the Sky Steel Manufactory. Off you go now. Okay. Welcome back, Mistress Lavenza. How may I serve you this day? Ironworks Promissory Note, issued by Garland Ironworks. This promissory note is intended for the purchase of the quantity of ceruleum specified thereupon. So you are after ceruleum. In that case, please present the note to our engineer at the airship landing. He shall be glad to assist you. I think I remember us meeting back up with Astinian at the airship landing, but I don't think that was this patch. I could be wrong, though. Ceruleum, you've come to the right man. Fair warning, though, the price has shot up on account of the uncertainty with the Empire, so I hope you've got the coin. Well, I've got a note. Does that count? Well now, a promissory note from the Ironworks. Don't see many of these. Not that it's a problem. It's as good as gold to me. Oh.
My friend! After the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places. As you may have heard, the Allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to Ishgard, that we might together plot a course. Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find. I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you? But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day? A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now, our only hope has been prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the cycle of bloodshed. Very well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide, and an airship with which to transport it. In this matter, you may count on Ishgard's full support.
That was quick.
Oh, who would have thought ceruleum weighed so much? Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
Good work, you two. This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more, now that I look at it. Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance? Ha! Some people have all the luck.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals, thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
It's been a while, hero. You seem surprised to see me. Lest you misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering. But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Allagans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
For all the effort it took to track you down after your latest disappearing act, you could find the cure for death, and it wouldn't be worth the trouble.
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate. I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel not only across dimensions, but through time. Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
Whatever you say, Garland.
Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin. All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while. Damn it. It's overloading.
Chief! She won't last much longer!
We'll have to shut it down.
Wait! We're close! So very close!
Oh.
Well, this is going swimmingly.
Please, a moment longer. I beg you. There! I was able to memorize the magic before it faded. It still needs to be put to the proof, but I believe we have our cure.
I would not trust.
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
I wouldn't trust my memory enough.
The fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at. This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in. A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
Thank you.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
So I did actually manage to get a little distracted in there. Because this was the patch that, was it delayed? Or I just remember there being issues with the voiceover because of the pandemic and all that, and the fact that the voice actors had to actually record from home. And I think the quality and everything sounds fine. But yeah, I noticed the difference. It's the same voice actors, but I think because it's been so long since they've done the role for Sid and even Nero, that I think the voices changed a little bit. You know, it's like they kind of forgot exactly the way they had done it before, and so they got kind of a close approximation. It's still not bad. It doesn't bother me. The performances were good. And I mean, it's been a while since we've seen them. You know, maybe they've aged a little bit. You know, a little hard on the alcohol or something. Change the quality of the voice. Thank you for watching this video. Tonight's stream was really good. Unexpectedly good. I don't know why it was unexpected, but I guess just because it wasn't like a 0.3 patch, really. Usually those are not quite as exciting, and I don't know, but I really enjoyed tonight's patch. I think part of it was doing Matoya's Relic. It's one of my favorite dungeons. I just love Matoya in general. Every time she's on screen, I have a good time. And then going on to the Limsa stuff and with the Beast Tribes and Merlwyb and the pirates and all of that stuff. Being somebody that came from Limsa, and it just, everything feels like it's full circle, and it was just done so well. And I really enjoyed the story tonight. And we actually finished, we got one quest left in 5.4, and then we'll be moving on to 5.5 and the end of what's current in the MSQ. So it's just really good, and it's crazy to think that it's almost over. So if you've enjoyed this as much as I have, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to come join me live for whatever it is I'm up to, by the time this stuff is released, the link to my Twitch is in the description down below. Thank you again for watching, and have a good one.